Josephtho, me, him, Swam, and we have Slothonaut, and our guest today is Otzdarva.
Hello,
Hello,
friends.
everybody.
Hello. Glad to have you, Darva.
It's good to be back. I honestly don't know what it's gonna be. I've already forgotten what the previous time I was on this podcast was like.
It's been a while now. I think we quit doing the casts in like May.
Yeah,
Been a few months.
that was whenever I was doing a bunch of housing shit.
All right, and the question is, have they gotten better? Can we expect something amazing this time around?
I believe it'll be better. I always like to improve or shittier. I mean it is what it is. It may be either.
That's filling me with optimism. I'm not scared at all.
So
I've been terrified.
I guess I'll start bombarding you with questions. Odds.
I do have a question for you guys though. Now that I think of it,
Okay.
you said because
Let's hear it.
I like to play it cool and stuff. I didn't like confirm my appearance until last minute. So what were you guys gonna do if I didn't show up?
We were probably
Cry.
gonna wait until Squilla.
And cry.
Yeah,
Well,
TBH.
I don't know if I want to interrupt your crying now. That sounds like a good plan.
I know.
People who listen to podcasts definitely appreciate some emotional, I don't know, like letting go and whatnot.
Nothing but tears will be found here.
Yep, just gotta let it all out sometimes.
Can we still cry a bit even if I'm here?
Well, I'll be crying somewhere else.
There'll be tears of happiness.
All
Yeah,
right.
tears of happiness. That's what you could call them.
That sounds all right. That was my only question.
Well, I'll start bombarding you then. So, the first thing that we have is what inspired you to make content, just in general.
Well, to be fair, the content I started creating is quite different from the one I create now. There's been a bit of an evolution. How I first started, I was honestly just inspired by the game that I was playing. I really like Dark Souls. I went into it with high hopes because I had played other games from Software, which I had liked a lot. And I thought, hey, this could be something I would enjoy. So I bought the game. I bought a capture card recorder for my PS3, and I started making some videos. And over the
nice.
time, they just changed into whatever the hell it is I upload now.
Was there anyone in particular that gave you like a first boost or whatever? Or no?
Don't think I had like a big boost, to be honest. The only time my channel kind of grew at a rate it hadn't before was when a couple of my videos got really popular. But just like some people have a big start or one big video that really boosts them. For me, it was pretty steady for some time. And then I got the finger out and I started having better practices. I was a bit more consistent, and my videos were better tagged, and the descriptions were better and whatnot. And I think that helped me a bit. But yeah, it was a small way up.
Oh, okay. When was it that you started? In 2011 or?
Oh no, not quite. That's when I created the channel, but I wouldn't upload a single video for a while. I think I made my first Dark Souls 1 video in late 2013. I think the very first video was I removed it. I don't know why, because I thought it was cool, but there must have been a reason why I removed it, I guess. And one of like my second or third Dark Souls video, it's still there, I think, and it's late 2013.
When did you start seeing the boost in your channel? Was it Dark Souls 2 or?
Oh, Dark Souls 2, I would say from Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 2, it was steady, but I was still, like, I don't know, say from 1,000 to 3,000 or 4,000. It was only until late Dark Souls 2 and then some Dark Souls 3 that I started doing way better.
Oh, okay.
How were you first introduced to the Dark Souls series, and what did you think about it as a new player?
Well, I got into it because of From Software, because I was a big fan of the Armored Core games, and I just knew that whatever these guys did was going to be good. I had heard some about Demon Souls, but I never got into it. I had some friends that played it. But when I looked into Dark Souls, I thought this could be something that I would enjoy, that I would like making videos about, and I just went for it and tried it. I played the game by myself. I didn't really have any friends that played it at the time, and well, it was probably quite an average experience with Dark Souls. Oh, this is difficult, but I'm learning and I like it. And then I tried doing PvP, and I was like, holy shit, I can trick people into falling for this. Hold on, I'm gonna do this for 5 more hours today. And
I actually I played a lot of Armored Core when I was younger, and it wasn't until after probably like well into playing Dark Souls 2 that I learned FromSoft made Armored Core, and I was like,
yeah, in fact,
holy
I
shit.
was playing one of the Armored Core games on my stream, one of the latest ones, and it was directed by Miyazaki himself.
That was
I
Armored
remember
Core
the first
4
time I
Answer, right?
played.
Yeah, exactly. That one was directed by Miyazaki.
Remember my dad bought, or he didn't buy it, he got like this demo disc for PS2 that just had a ton of game demos on there. And I remember one of them was Oni, or I don't remember what it's called, the game before Shadow of the Colossus.
Eco.
And
Eco, yeah.
there you go, yeah. And it had that on there, and it had one of the Armored Core games, and I just, like, the amount of customization with the mechs, just, I was in love.
Dude,
and I made him go buy me
it
the
is
game,
so
like, that
dope.
weekend.
I really like it, and you guys probably know another Armored Core game is coming up. You know, I don't know what exactly, but it's gonna
Is
be.
that do you know if that's gonna be a reboot or if it's just gonna be Armored Core?
Well, the thing with Armored Core, it works a bit like Final Fantasy games. Every new game, it's like it doesn't. There's Final Fantasy 13 and then Final Fantasy 13-2 or 13-3 or 13 whatever the fuck. But the next Armored Core, the next Final Fantasy is a completely different universe.
Yeah.
So it's very likely that you can go into Armored Core 6 or Armored Core whatever it is without knowing anything from the previous ones.
I think there's been a little bit of speculation that will be the final game in From Software's contract with Sony to make more exclusives. Some people were speculating that it would be Bloodborne 2 as a PS4 exclusive, or it might be an Armored Core game. So
I would be skeptical about that, because Armored Core games for the longest time now have been console exclusives. If you go to Armored Core 4 and For Answer and 5 and Verdict Day, I think they were both on consoles, not on PC, but on consoles, both of them. Now, the thing that you were saying, it kind of makes sense, because as From Software gets bigger, they would want to sell on all platforms available, right? They would want to be on Steam. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a change in the upcoming games in that regard, but I somehow doubt that it will be a PS4 exclusive if it's an Armored Core game. But then again, we could be surprised.
Do you have any speculation of like other titles that because they have said they're working on more than just Armored Core?
Yeah, one of them was supposed to be also like I think Miyazaki said something that would meet the expectations. So just like Bloodborne was
a dark fantasy game.
Yeah, exactly. I expect something similar, but that isn't Bloodborne per se.
And then there's a weird game.
Yeah, and I don't know. That seems exciting. When Bloodborne was announced, everyone was losing their shit because it looks so cool. I kind of look forward to playing something else as well.
There's gonna be something on the Nintendo Switch. I know I've been on the Nintendo hype train for like forever, but
oh boy,
yeah, they announced there's gonna be something for that. So one of those 3 games is going to be portable. So
I don't have a lot of experience with portable games.
Well, no, I mean the Switch is just like, I mean, have you played the new Zelda or anything? Or
no, I in fact I don't have the console. I know how it works a little bit, so I think I know what you mean. But it is an exciting prospect, I suppose, to see more From Software in more platforms.
Yeah, it's weird to me a From Software title being on Nintendo.
Are there any other?
They've had Armored Core games on the portable consoles before, but it was mostly I think it was only the PSP. But
well, they've had Monster Hunter Cat Diaries for the Nintendo DS in Japan. So I mean,
that wasn't a From Software game, though. You talking like in general?
Well, no, No, Monster Hunter Cat Diaries, that was a From Software Capcom thing.
Oh, really? I have no idea.
Yeah. And they have an anime series, so they have a From Software anime series.
Actually, didn't know that either.
Yeah. Well, I'm a weeb, so I know this.
And what do you guys think about the
Everyone's
current
like,
games? Do you think their lifespan will be cut short when the new ones come on?
I feel like that's usually how it goes, because like Dark Souls 2 had, even towards the end of its lifespan, it was still extremely active, but when Dark Souls 3 came out, it just dropped.
yeah.
Yeah, but if imagine that the next game we get is an Armored Core 6, for instance. I know I will play the shit out of it, but will most Dark Souls players consider it, even if it's a completely different genre?
I think some will. Like, I know I've heard Squilla talking about the fact that he'll play it, and just there's so many like Dark Souls nerds that just worship FromSoft, and they'll kind of play whatever they put out. But I don't think the Souls community will fully move away from Dark Souls 3 until something in that same vein comes out. Even if it's not like a Dark Souls 4 or a Bloodborne 2. If just another Souls-like comes out from FromSoft, people will play it.
I agree with. But I'm hoping that people will get carried away with the From Software thing, because even if it's kind of like incidental, Armored Core games were massively underrated.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, even Dark Souls 2 or Bloodborne fucking it didn't make everyone move to Bloodborne from Dark Souls 2 because PvP.
Well, right. Yeah. And there's always people that are still playing Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 2 saying that it's the best game to date. There's people in the arena still like just playing all day.
Which Souls game is your favorite?
That is a tough call, because when you ask for my favorite, if I had to tell you the one where I've had the most fun, I think that would be Dark Souls 2 by far. Then again, Dark Souls 3 is a very well-rounded game, even if I have my mixed feelings about some of the aspects. But the better game overall in PvE, that would be Bloodborne, like by a long shot.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with that one.
Same.
Dark Souls 2 was where I found your channel, so I remember the Olympic Games. I believe that was it, right?
Dark Souls 2 is the one game that I know best. There's something really special about it. It's pretty much the only game where I could start like 5 different characters, and the start of the game would never be boring, because you could, within 10 minutes, you could have a completely different build. You could be a pyromancer, you could be a mage. Like if you knew the game, you could grab very valuable materials early on. You could grab like about 30 or 40 different weapons within minutes. It was amazing. The start of the game, it was really something special, and it was one of the games where I did the most challenge runs, and I knew it so well that I even tried a no damage run, and I eventually got it. And it's only because I just knew it so well, and I played it so much. But
Why
then
do you think? Go ahead.
I recognized that it had its PvE flaws, even though the PvP, I would say that's almost inarguably the best one in the series.
Why do you think everyone just like shits on Dark Souls 2? Like ENB, fucking basically everyone in Soulbrand and everyone.
Because the thing Dark Souls 1 did very well PvE wise were kind of ignored by Dark Souls 2. The interconnectivity, it was just thrown off, like of the maps, it was just thrown off. Some of the subtlety of the bosses, things like that. They were just, Dark Souls 2 was very different. It was also very clunky and slow, which in my opinion made it better in a way, especially PvP wise. But that also rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
And I feel like Dark Souls 2 had like more things were viable. Like with Dark Souls 3, we've seen a very definitive meta for a long time, and every update it changes. And that was still the case in Dark Souls 2 to a degree, but it's like, I remember when I'd be PvPing in the arena in Dark Souls 2, I would just come across some of the funkiest builds, and they'd always kick my ass. Like, they were always good.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in Dark Souls 2 that you can make work. There's so many build variety. One of the things that makes Dark Souls 2 special is that every build has its weapons, its spells, its things. You can do you can do a what's it called mundane build where your stats are all around and you can use a variety of weapons. Whereas in Dark Souls 3, it's like every other weapon you can just slap the refined infusion on it, and everything is a 40-40 build, pretty much.
Yep.
And what's the point of grabbing a spear that scales with strength if you're just gonna slap refine on it? It's just in that regard, it was a bit disappointing. Dark Souls 2, you could infuse boss weapons, you could enchant everything. You just had so much freedom.
And the power stancing, I mean, I like the weapon arts, they're cool, but man, do I miss power stancing with like a great sword and a katana, or just like the funkiest combos.
And
Yeah, it's one of those
shields.
things that, okay, you understand why it's gone because it's been replaced by something else. But
Yeah.
Didn't you like the ability to parry with like all the weapons? You could have a great hammer and do a super parry with it. That was awesome, in my opinion. And now you have a spear, and you press L2, and it just does the weapon art. Press L1, you cover, and if you put it in your left hand, it's completely useless. Like, who wants to like shield up with a spear? Why don't I get the same moveset or a different one on the left hand? It's like, why? Why are we going back when Dark Souls 2 did something right in this regard?
Agreed.
So,
but you were mentioning too the no damage run on Dark Souls 2, which I know you completed that like last month.
Yeah, I think it was on like the 23rd of August or something like that. So a bit.
Was there any parts of that run that really like stood out to you, or like what was your biggest challenge with that?
Well, the thing about the run is that in order to make the late run as easy and streamlined as possible, I had to do a lot of stuff early on. Like, a lot of it. I went through a lot of trouble to get some massively powerful spells, like the best catalyst in the game, things like that. So because I had to take so many risks on, it was easy to fail. And for some reason, the thing that I always said during those streams is that the run had a very particular feeling to it. And that's the fact that every time I did it, every single time, there was something that had never happened before in all the hundreds of attempts that I have done before. That had never happened before. That happened. An enemy that never moved this spot. Something that like maybe some archer that never aggroed. Some dude that never followed me up to this point followed me up to this point. This attack that had never been done before was done. It was really mentally exhausting to try to keep up with everything the game threw at you. One of the things that really bothered me in my new volley of attempts was the Mirror Knight. The Mirror Knight is a really tough boss. He has these follow-up attacks that he may or may not do. So when he does an attack, it's really hard to tell if you should punish it or not. Simply because sometimes he does follow-up attacks and sometimes he does not. And all of these attacks can push you around. So even if you dodge perfectly, the thing he will do, he will move you around. So you're within its hitbox space. And when your iframes run out, then the hit will register. And that broke me so many times. In the end,
that was definitely one of the most memorable bosses from Dark Souls 2 for me.
I don't get me wrong, I love that boss. But when I tried to do him no hit and doing him close up, and it's one of those bosses where you cannot really like stay back and take it too easy because he will summon his minions, so you have to kind of kill him quickly. And I did not have the damage output in my rapier to kill him as fast as other speedrunners. So in the end, what I did was just cheese him with magic, and I felt a bit bad, but fuck him. Seriously.
I mean, whatever you gotta do. And I've seen a bit of you. You posted a video on YouTube, the no emotion or the emotional damage run.
Yeah, that was like a compilation of the moments.
Yeah, like you were saying, just every time during the run, something would go wrong that hadn't before. Yeah. Things that were like you couldn't calculate beforehand.
I mean, I could go over a lot of examples because I tried this run for like 2 different times. Like once this year when I got it, and previously last year when I gave up. And I've seen a lot of bullshit happen. Like enemies somehow breaking doors from like miles away and follow me all the way up to a point. Bosses not changing fate. Like I'm thinking that they're gonna go into second phase. There's a few that have like second phase, not many, but and then they don't go and they catch me off guard. lots of things like that. Also, the fact that Doctor 2 has some very, very, very punishing mechanics if you run out of stamina. It's not a fast-paced Bloodborne kind of game. It's very slow-paced. So when you see that something's going wrong, there's like 2 good seconds before you get hit, but you know you're gonna get hit, and you just have to watch it happen. It's the most infuriating thing in the world. You run out of stamina because you shot one more arrow than you should have, or whatever, and you couldn't cancel it. That's happened to me. And then I'm like, okay, he's gonna attack me in like 2 seconds, but all throughout this time, I cannot do anything. I'm just gonna get hit, and that fucking killed me. It was
when you were first planning on doing this run. How did you go about routing it, and what did that process look like for you?
I was a complete fucking idiot because I was not an experienced challenge runner. Instead of planning it in my head and then doing some routing, I just went for it. I was like, yeah, we're doing it. Every time I get hit, I restart. So if you go watch the video I put like last year, you're gonna see like a compilation of me being hit like hundreds of times in the first like 4 to 6 areas. Don't do that ever. I'll never do that again. I've learned better. Don't take me wrong. I came to know those areas very well because I got hit by pretty much everything that could be a threat in those, and my strategies for those areas turned out to be really good at the end when I refined them. But yeah, I did it the exact opposite of how it should be done.
How many different variations of strategies did you have to go through before you found one that worked for a given area or section of the game?
Right. That's a long one. I knew the game pretty well, so it's not like I had to figure out a lot of things. I mostly knew that my strategy should go around magic, because I knew that in Scholar the first thing I could get the most powerful catalyst, and I was almost always set on that. It was the starting areas that really messed with me at the start. I tried getting like the starting areas are brutal, are easily the hardest areas to navigate through the game if you don't want to get hit or don't want to get damaged. And my idea was just to run through here, use one of the ruin school here. It was like it was terrible. I got hit all the time, and you had to keep up with so many things and do so many things perfectly, and even then you could still get hit by, random arrows and whatnot. So what I ended up doing was finding the one spell that made the starting of the game way easier, which was Yearn. Now, Yearn is a spell that kind of works like, what's it called in Dark Souls 1? Aural Decoy. It just attracts enemies.
Yeah.
And in Dark Souls 2, it's massively, massively overpowered. It gets enemies from a really long distance to just de-aggro completely, and it was a lifesaver. So I have to go through a lot of trouble at first to get that one spell, but after I get that, the game is pretty easy for a while. And it's mostly centered around like killing the bosses, because the enemies are kind of trivial when you get it, and it helps a lot down the line as well.
Were there any other runs at the time that you used strategies from or took inspiration from, like speed runs or no hits?
No, not quite. As I said, I was a bit of a fucking idiot, and instead of learning from people who knew the game better or just had more experience in general, except maybe other than some well-known like skips or something, I don't really think I went through any strategies. I knew that at the time there was another uploader that's a pretty cool guy. It's called Wyvern Slayer, and he was doing the exact same run, I think. So sometimes I would watch him, but his strategy was a bit different from mine, so I didn't really like emulate him or got many strategies down.
Did you have?
And then too, I have the video pulled up as well from your no damage run, and it looks like you started out with the sorcerer. Was that for?
Yeah.
You did mention you cheesed a lot of the bosses with magic.
Early on, magic is kind of fucking useless, if I'm completely honest. Like you cannot do a lot of damage, and I don't have a good catalyst for magic, but it is good to like cheese enemies from a long distance and sometimes kill some stuff. And I also needed the intelligence to use the spell Yearn, because Yearn requires 19 intelligence, so I needed that starting class so I could use Yearn as soon as possible. And thanks to Yearn, I could get through most of the starting areas just fine. The only area that...
And was that like a later decision you made after like attempts on the run?
Yeah,
Did you
if
always...
you watch my first video, you'll see that I go through a few areas at first, and I was hit by all the mobs. It was terrible. It is really, really difficult. And you can use alluring skulls at first, but still, you don't have a lot of money. There's like 6 of them you can buy. It's like a very limited resource, and it doesn't work nearly as well as Yearn does. So when I realized its potential, I was like, yep, I need this. I need this like right now. So I pretty much based the entire start of the run around getting Yearn. And then I had some low power spells that I didn't really use. Don't really use for a long time. But then when I started killing the great one that I chose to kill 4 times, I started getting more and more intelligence. And even though it's useless at the time, when I go to Dranglake Castle, I have the strongest catalyst in the game for intelligence. Sometimes I can even infuse it. And also I have a lot of intelligence and some really, really powerful spells. So from there on, it's just a pew pew simulator. Which some people, of course, have complained about when I uploaded the videos. Like, oh, you're only using magic.
Hey, whatever you gotta do. Dark Souls 2 is also notorious for the thickness of enemies in each area.
Well, I'm not saying that magic doesn't make it easier, because certainly it saves my ass later on. It makes some areas and some enemies really, really easy. But the trouble I have to go through to get out of that, it's kind of hard on its own. I would just rather have the trouble be early on, when I can restart, maybe 1 hour into the game, than dying
instead
like
of having
2 or 3
to do a
hours into the game.
restart at the end.
That was my philosophy. And to anyone that's, there's not that many people, but every now and again I'll read a comment like, "Oh, this looks easy." I'm not even mad. Like it might look easy, but I would just tell them to try it. Like just try it. Just you can pull up I have my full run on my second channel, so they can just pull it up and try to do the exact same thing I do. And the thing that you would find if you try doing the exact same thing I do is that unless I was there coaching you, you would fail so many times, because there are so many things that you have to do like perfectly. And they're like little details that if you don't do exactly that way, they will fuck up your run. For instance, there's a part pretty early on where I have to go through the wood, the shaded woods. It's that part where it's super foggy and there's the invisible enemies. And there's like 2 rings that I have to grab from that area. And if you don't perform that run perfectly, and you don't hit the tree from the exact same spot that I do, and if you don't look that way, and if you don't do everything right, you will get backstabbed, or you'll have a bolt lock between your eyebrows. So it's a run that requires a lot of experience. Like it's not something you could just pull off immediately.
No, definitely. And you said you've been trying to do this run for well over a year.
Yeah, well, I just had I had like 2 or 3 weeks of like nonstop attempts when I first started, and I got super close, and I was like, dude, I'm satisfied with this. Fuck it, fuck this run. And then it took me about 3 weeks or so to get it again. So it's like I was trying for an entire year. I just had like a big hiatus in between. But yeah, it is a run that I struggle with a lot. It's probably well over 200 attempts worth of runs.
Have you considered doing no damage runs in any of the other Dark Souls games?
Well, that's quite difficult. In Dark Souls 1, the no damage run would be, I think, technically possible, but also fucking ridiculous, because you would have to pull off the seed skip in the archives, which is already hard enough, I suppose. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. In the archives, you're supposed to die to see the scaleless. And there's a way to skip it, but it's ridiculously hard to do. And there's a lot of moments like that. You would also have to get 30 humanity so that you could open up the shortcut to isolate, so you don't have to step on the lava.
Well, you could do the Firekeeper soul thing for that.
Yeah. The 30 humanity, is that what you mean? Or
yeah.
Okay. Good fucking luck. Trying to do a run that could be like well over, I don't know what, 4 hours long or 5 hours long, and I don't know. It just really puts me off. It seems that in Dark Souls 1, the no head run is like good enough in my opinion. Besides Dark Souls 1, I was never that great at. I didn't know as well. Well, I actually know it better than Dark Souls 3 probably, but Yeah, I was never that into it. Dark Souls 2, I decided to do the no damage run on just because I knew so well. And Dark Souls 3, I actually considered it and even practiced it for a bit. But while I was doing the Dark Souls 2 no damage, Skilla Killa got it in like a week or something like that. Like 3 or 4 streams, he just got it. And I was really, really impressed because I knew Skilla knew Dark Souls 3 like the back of his hand, but he was still really impressive. So someone out there did it. So I didn't have much of an incentive to try it because I wouldn't be the first one. And then there's Bloodborne.
Has anyone ever? I know people or Squilla even, I believe he's done Bloodborne no hit, but has anyone done no damage on that one?
No, and there's
It's
a very
impossible.
Is it impossible?
There's a very
It's
good reason.
impossible.
Yeah, in the Nightmare of Mensis. No, it's that called? It's called
The frenzy.
Yeah,
It's
there's
impossible.
a section where there's like a frenzy buildup that also damages you, and normally you can just like walk through and not die, but you will still take damage. Now I've heard from some people, and I don't know if there's any credibility to this, that you can pixel walk through this area and not get damaged. But
No.
I don't know. It's like I told you could pixel walk through the gutter and not take any poison. It's ridiculous. Like you cannot do that. There's enemies there that are fucking.
I've played through
huge.
Bloodborne about like 150 times at least, and fuck no. No.
Maybe there's like some way to trick the game, but even not only am I very skeptical, even if this was possible, it's so ridiculous that I think a no-hit run on Bloodborne is like the better alternative. And
If anyone does the
the
Chalice Dungeons no hit, I will be very impressed.
all the fixed ones.
Yeah, all of the
but I mean-
Chalice Dungeons.
I mean, if they go through all, I know Faraz and I think Skilla have done DLC plus base game, and I think that's impressive enough.
No,
if
I
they
know
also-
that's impressive, but I will be very impressed if like Tola.
Is there
or
any
something
particularly challenging bosses in the challenge?
in the Chalice Dungeons? Yeah, Lorraine Darkbeast.
Well, yeah, that guy is a fucking asshole. But compared to some of the DLC bosses, I think they could do it. I don't want them to do it because I fear for their
Sanity.
for their doctors are just gonna check their blood pressure one day and they're gonna be, dude, you've got like 2 weeks left to live. You just up all your energy. Because I know the all bosses run was already like 4 hours long, and my run on Dark Souls 2 was 4 hours, but only because I did so many things to like prepare and stuff. Right? It could be a bit faster, in my opinion. So yeah, 4 hours of like non-stop bosses, and I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. And if it was the challenge ones, it could easily go up to like 5 or 6 or 7 hours. And I don't know. That's no one should be should have to play a game for that long without getting hit. Just imagine you get hit 7 hours into the challenge when there's like 2 bosses left.
Oh, I'd uninstall.
And that's happened. I know for us, it's gotten hit like at the final boss of Bloodborne, like 3 or 4 hours into it, and I'm like, dude, I respect this guy for trying again.
Faraz not only got hit on the last boss, I remember one of his Bloodborne attempts I was watching, he got hit as the last boss was dying. And like he didn't even realize it at first.
I know
rough.
that one time he did an attack that in any other situation would have hit, like it visually connected to the enemy. That it probably would have stunned it or something, but it didn't connect, and he was like, "What?" And then the enemy, one of the attacks that is like impossible to avoid, and he got hit, and he was so upset. But even still, you can see in their composure that these guys are cut of like a different material from the average Souls player. They are just so good. I have mad respect for Skilla, Faraz, Give Me Dopamine, and any other no hit runners.
McDrunkard, my boy McDrunkard.
Oh yeah, he was the first one to get a no hit Dark Souls 2. Mm-hmm.
No, that was Hob.
That would be right. I think
he was
you're
the
right.
second person. He was right after him.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
Was that including DLC or just base game?
No, just base game. I don't think anyone in their right mind would do DLC. Dark Souls 2's DLCs, I'm sorry, but that includes Alone, Fume Knight, which are bad enough.
That's
Then
impossible.
you've got things like Blue Smelter Demon, who would do contact damage. You've got Luden Zalen, 2 fucking cads that you've got. Oh my god, just thinking of it is giving me like an aneurysm. Yeah, no way, no fucking way. No, I don't think anyone will ever try doing no hit, let alone no damage of the DLCs. That'll be disgusting. Some of them you could kind of breeze through a bit more than others, but the third, oh my god, I don't want to imagine it.
I really enjoyed those DLCs.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They're very difficult.
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying they're a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't want to imagine what it would be like. It would almost be like doing the Chalice Dungeons on Bloodborne. It would just extend the run so much. It would.
Yeah, they're pretty lengthy. Like all 3 of them would probably extend the run by like an hour, hour and a half.
Not just that. The fact that you would have to, if you were playing on Scholar, of course, you would have to get the keys for all. For all the DLCs. Yeah, one of the keys are easy enough to get. It's in Drangleic Castle for the third one.
Yeah.
But then there's a key that you have to get in the well. That's a bit of trouble because you have to kill some giants. Okay, that one's not so bad. But then you have to also get the key that's in the Forest of the Fallen Giants, the one for the second DLC, and that's where the fucking fire geckos are at. I just there's just so much trouble to go through. Maybe it's not so bad. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it would extend the run so much. I hope no one tries it.
You should try it.
I should live. I should live this.
That title's up to the taking,
I should
man.
live this podcast right now. Before you give me any ideas, because I'm talking about it, I'm like, yeah, there's like a little boys. You know, in the movies when you get like a little angel on your shoulder and a little devil. Yeah, the little devil was telling me, you can do it. Be the first one. Do it. And
you know your ego would be so fucking large if you did that, though.
I don't fucking want to. It's like the day I make a stream called Dark Souls 2 plus DLCs, no damage or no hit run, I know that my fucking viewers will be like, don't do this to yourself. I'm calling protective services, child protective. Yeah, I'm having you arrested.
You have a lot more faith in your viewers now than you did last podcast.
Oh, what did I say about them last podcast?
You were like, you were like, you
I'm not saying that a lot of them wouldn't enjoy seeing me suffer. I know that at least 50% of them are just there to watch me fucking, die on the inside, and that's part of the fun. But I don't know. The Dark 2 DLCs, dude, you're not thinking straight if you think that can be fucking done. There's a battle with like fucking 7 enemies at once in the third DLC. And the 2 fucking cats, even if you have the most overpowered fucking thing, how are you going to deal with 2 enemies that are hard enough to deal with on their own?
Wait, there's that one guy who does all the Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3 all bosses perfect. Oh my god.
Oh, you're talking about Ray Dimitri?
Yes,
course.
that meme. Yes.
Oh yeah, Ray Dimitri. Ray Dimitri would do it. That's true. That's true. But
Ray Dimitri would do it.
Yeah.
Him on his max level build. All you have to do, all right, you have to farm Giant Lord until max level, and then you can do it.
Yeah. Fuck. That would actually be poetic justice. I hate the fucking Giant Lord. He ruined my run the first time around. But no, fuck it. Seriously. Even okay, say that I use my strategies, right? And I get like a super powerful magic build with like 99 intelligence and the most powerful spells in the game. And then I get to the second DLC and I have to go up against the Blue Smelter. And of course I kind of get close to him. Like if I use a close range weapon, I will get damaged by his AoE, right? And you can use like a pole arm or something to hit him from a distance, but that's fucking suicide because if he takes the slightest step forward, it will touch you. It will just do like little damage, but it will touch you, and that's already run over. But then say I try to use the magic spells I have, right? Like I would with most bosses. He would take it would be like using pyromancies against the original Smelter Demon. They would do no damage at all because he's super fucking powerful against magic. He's a magic enemy. So yeah, how the fuck are you gonna kill that guy?
By being Ray Dimitri. You gotta
Dude.
summon your own Ray Dimitri for that boss.
I don't want to even think about it. It's mind blowing. And going through the DLCs. Have you seen the start of the third DLC? Those fucking tight passageways and all those enemies. Oh, I don't want to imagine it. It would be terrible. If someone does it, I'll be the first one to be like, dude, you got my respect. But I think even the Madmen, Faraz and Skilla, I don't even think they're trying to do it. And you know that if it was reasonable, they would.
Definitely. And also, I did want to ask you. Notice I'll pull up the video real quick for the people watching. But you had an edgy build tournament coming up.
Oh yeah, that'll be starting tomorrow on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I want to talk to you a bit about that. Did you have any like specific inspiration for that, or what kind of brought that one on?
No, I mean it's always been a bit of a meme. There's the occasional Guts character, and the guy that brings a katana and does the quiet gesture. What?
How many Bloodshades do you expect to see?
Oh well, I've already seen a few ones in the preparation stream, so I think P will be proud. Maybe we'll summon him or something. I don't know. Like what I've seen so far, I have really, really high hopes for the event. It's gonna be like we've done a couple of events like this. We did the Battle of the Dumb Builds video, which was like my most popular video, and it was a lot of fun, even though it was like very hastily prepared. And then I tried doing something similar, and I did the Battle of the Dumb cosplays, and that one, I swear to God, people surprised me so much. It was so creative and so fucking hilarious that it was about time we did another one. And now for the first time, we're doing it on 2 platforms. So
Mozilla Firefox.
Yeah, you remember? Oh man, yeah, it was dope. So I'm like, what is the next thing that we should make builds about? And seeing how Dark Souls 3 has like fucking 10 million weapons that you can use and slow walk with and stuff, I was like, yeah, we need to make an edgy build event. So I made a couple ones, one on PS4 and one on PC. And probably tonight after this podcast, I'll make sure it's already up, and we'll do one event on Saturday and the next one on Sunday, and then I'll put it together in a video probably.
And what exactly classifies a build as edgy?
I've been asked that, and it's actually like, if you think about it, it's really hard to explain, right? Because when you say edgy, you get the picture in your head, but if you try to describe what it's like a bit difficult.
I just picture some guy slow walking in a katana weapon art.
Nothing personal.
Just get the Peeve cosplay. Perfect.
Well, I put some thought into it when someone asked me in the comments, and I think the thing about edgy is like a character that like tries too hard to be like cool, mysterious, kind of like violent. I think the key of it is like tries too hard and comes along as a fucking moron, because he tries to be too dark or look too much like an anime character, something like that. So you can expect to see people using katanas, people using blood infusions, people slow walking, people doing edgy gestures or saying edgy lines. So that's what we expect in the tournament.
Do you expect
at least one Guts cosplay?
An edgy Ethiopian child cosplay?
I'm hoping we'll see some recurring characters, but it's okay if we see new ones too. Sorry, Joseph, what are you saying?
I don't even remember.
Damn, I fucked it up for you.
Yeah, dude.
It wasn't that important. It was just a meme. It's okay.
Oh yeah, I've been surprised in the past, and we've done like a couple preparation streams, and people already had some really funny shit. So I'm hoping we'll all be surprised, because sometimes the length my fucking viewers will go to make something fucking hilarious have been really fucking unbelievable. Like making the same build like 3 times, and every time I summon him, he's more roughed up and things like that. It'll be great. I'm looking forward to it.
Have you ever seen Muscle Man's videos?
Oh, he sounds vaguely familiar. Okay, can you
He made the ALMAO videos where he just made an alien. It was like a really small, skinny guy with an alien head. It was really, really fucking funny.
Oh, I don't think I've seen it. Then I'm gonna have to watch those.
I'll link it to you on Discord.
Thank you.
They're fucking hilarious. And he makes this build in what is it, save editor, or what is it in Dark Souls 3? The
Motion Monkey or
cheat
whatever.
engine. Cheat engine.
Oh, right.
Yeah. He uses the cheat engine and makes his character super buff.
Yeah. There's always people like that, and almost out of my events, there's someone trying to like do something fucking crazy, and for the most part, it's pretty fun to see unfold. So I don't mind it too much.
So I have a next question. It's super important. What is the Dark Souls 2 of cars?
The Dark Souls 2 of cars?
Yes.
Cars as in vehicles?
Yes.
How would I know? Fuck. I didn't know questions would get so hard. I mean, after the Solinaire thing I'm doing, I guess I have in common that I'm put in a tough spot, but Dark Souls 2
I
of
heard
cars.
Skid got a bunch of shit for that.
Oh, listen. I know the car. I know the answer. I just don't know the name of the model of that car. You guys seen Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
You remember the car the mom Skylar buys for her son? That one ugly ass model. It's like a Chrysler, or I don't remember what it is.
It's a PT Cruiser.
Yeah, I remember.
A PT Cruiser. Yeah, it's the Cruiser.
PT Cruiser.
The Cruiser is the Dark Souls 2 of cars. It's got some good things about it. I'm pretty sure somewhere, but like if you just look at it at face value, it looks fucking horrible.
I think that's the perfect answer to that question, honestly. Yeah.
PT Cruiser.
It took me a while, but I think that's my answer, final answer.
So the next thing, I'm gonna be asking all the really dumb stuff here. Why is Dark Souls the Cuphead of action RPGs?
Well, I haven't played Cuphead just yet, and I don't know if I should, because every time I'm streaming lately, I get like every now and then a person comes to the stream and it's like, finally, one of the streams I watch isn't playing Cuphead. I'm like, dude, is it really that popular? And from what I've seen of it, I'm actually aching to play it because it looks so fucking cool. So
that's actually one of the reasons I've been waiting to play it too. I had that same experience when For Honor first came out. I had a ton of people just coming into my stream like, "Thank God you're not playing For Honor." Like that.
Yeah, Adam Barker dedicated his channel to
I
For
really
Honor.
did. I thought it was so fun. I think it might be one of the few, or perhaps the only game that's lost me. Not because the game wasn't fun, which I thought was kind of okay, but because of all the practices that were around it, where you have to grind and grind and grind to unlock characters, and it was like terrible. I feel that game could have been managed so much better, but sorry, I'm going on a tangent.
Oh, it is totally okay.
So
speaking of games that could have gone a little better, did you play any Absolver when it came out?
Yeah, I did a bit, and I played a bit. I never got into it big time, but it's just one of those games where I haven't played enough. If you told me it was the greatest game ever, I would believe it. If you told me it flopped, I would also believe it. I'm still kind of open-minded to it, but it seems like it's dying down. So I don't know if I'll invest much more time into it.
That's kind of how I'm feeling about it too. It was a really great game. Like I enjoyed playing it, but
we looked at a screenshot the other day, and the top streamer had like 5 viewers.
Yeah.
Someone
the
has
game
said,
only came out like a month and a half ago.
It's not a fun game to watch.
That's a complaint I heard about For Honor a lot as well.
Fun
to play, not fun to watch.
I wouldn't say that it doesn't have any merit, but I watch For Honor videos, and you could have some funny interactions and the gestures. There's the thing. I don't know. It was fun to watch to some degree, and fun to play as well.
Young Hero make one.
Young, and yeah, that's what he said in his video. For Honor is not a fun game to watch. So here's some stream snipes. And that's how when a game is not that fun to watch, and the content creators have to go around to make it entertaining. That's when you know maybe the game is great, but it's got its issues.
Yeah.
I think some games are really enjoyable to play and they're really fun for the players and they're great games, but they may not necessarily be a really good game to stream.
I was thinking that when I was playing the Armored Core game that we talked about earlier, because piloting that shit is fucking dope. You're like flying around and turning and boosting here and there, but the viewer doesn't really get the experience of like the piloting of it. So it's a fun, very very fun game to play. Probably not as much to watch.
It's like
I'm
Nintendo
definitely,
games.
I wouldn't know because I don't have experience with those, but I would definitely say that some games are like that for sure.
What was your experience like streaming those games recently? Because I noticed you were playing Armored Core in the past couple of weeks. What was that like for you, and how did it compare to streaming Dark Souls?
Well, you know, when your channel gets big streaming Dark Souls, going to anything else, and this I'm pretty sure you could ask this to any streamer that has gotten big with a particular game. When they stream anything else, like of course it's not the same. Some people will not turn up. There's lower viewer count, and I also played it really late at night, so it was very chill. I enjoyed it. It was like sharing something you hold dear to the people that you care about. It was just sharing a game I was passionate about with my viewers, so I didn't think too much about it. But in my streams, there's usually the games where people come and watch, and there's also the games when people come and play with me because I do a lot of events in Dark Souls or PUBG or whatever. So it was just one of the times when people just come and watch, and it doesn't engage as many people, of course. You guys still there or what?
Yeah. No, I have a super
don't sort out your
question.
questions too fast.
No.
I have my super important question. What's your favorite Pokemon?
I actually know this one. Altaria, the big fluffy bird. I love it.
What gen is that?
I think that's Gen 3,
I
right?
think it's
Ruby
I think
Sapphire?
it's the third one. Yeah, I think so. It's like a cloud. It has wings and a beak.
Oh
and,
yeah.
You know the one. It's very cute. I like it. I'm not like a big fan of like the cutest Pokemon. I also like some other edgy ones like Tyranitar or whatever. But that one I thought was great. I like that one, and also Shadow. I like birds in general.
My favorite one is Blastoise, and it always will be.
Oh,
He's
Blastoise
thick.
is a pretty edgy choice.
it is
He's
pretty
thick.
edgy. Yeah, I mean it's kind of up there with Charizard as starters go. I don't know, but
Kinda up there.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean, what?
it's no.
What do you mean?
He's better than Charizard. Come on now.
I'm just saying it's one of those, the starter Pokemons, and they're both pretty edgy, but
At
no
least
no
he's
hard
not
no hard no
Venusaur.
hard feelings, no hard feelings. Everyone's
At least he's
Pokemons
not
are.
Venusaur.
Venusaur is like,
Got a problem with Venusaur, bro?
oh man, what have I started?
I guess we're all gonna have to get Pokken Tournament now. So
you guys play Pokemon a bunch?
oh, I do.
Are you having a
I
handheld
have the
console?
newest
Because
ones
I loved it when I was a kid, and I played it on my Game Boys, but other than that, I haven't really played it very much.
I played Pokemon a lot when I was younger through like the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance.
Right.
But I kind of skipped out on the DS phase of Pokemon with like Black and White.
I played a bit of those. I think the last one I played it on PC. This one, the one with Cynthia as a champion. I think that was Pearl or Diamond or.
Yeah, I didn't play those ones
it
either,
was
but I
Diamond
did
and
get
Pearl.
back into it with like the 3DS era of Pokemon games with like X and Y and Sun and Moon. I enjoyed those.
Damn, I like RPG games in general. I think I would like them. I don't know if it's a genre I would make much content of, because one of the things that I really care about games these days is things. When I play games, I'm thinking, dude, I want to share what I'm doing. So there are some games that you could really really love, but you can't really make content about.
Well,
So I try to go for games that I can make videos about and enjoy with my
you
viewers.
could do it like on Twitch, like you can make like viewers your Pokemon and stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, for streams, yeah, there's always room for interaction, but I don't know what I like. If I were to play Pokemon, I wouldn't know how to make content out of it.
Speaking of what you were just saying there, have you found it harder, like as a content creator, to enjoy video games in your free time?
Oh, a bit, yeah. I talk to other uploaders, and sometimes you just get this like, you know, uh, I'm gonna use a big word, but it's not that big of a deal. That you get like this uploading anxiety where it's like, oh, dude, it's been 2 weeks. And for me, one of the things that really makes it worse is that I start many projects that I work on simultaneously. So I'm like, dude, I haven't uploaded for a while, but I have like 3 videos that are all about to be ready, or I'm missing footage for this, but it's almost done, and you just start thinking, I need to make a video right now. I need to please my viewers. And when I'm bringing this up because then you're like, hey, I want to relax and I want to play, but I feel bad because I should be making videos, right? And yeah, it does change the way you play, because since in a way playing video games is kind of like the hobby that you're doing for your videos, sometimes it's hard to forget that you can just play and not care about that and not record or not do anything special and just have fun.
Yeah, and like sometimes I'll be like playing a game off stream and I'll be like, oh, did you guys see that? There's no one here. I'm talking to myself.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, I was so mad. When you're an uploader, whenever something amazing happens to you, you want to share it, right? Because you're like, either by itself or like it's part of a bigger video. I had the most fucking hilarious interaction in PUBG the other day. Like this moments where it would just make for a good video on its own. It was just so fucking funny. We just like some people shit talked us and we punched them to death. It was just like this crazy fucking really unlikely situation. And normally I would have been like, wow, that was cool. Let's keep playing. But as an uploader, I was like, oh my fucking god, Shadowplay wasn't on. I just lost all that footage. I'm not gonna be able to share with anyone. Fuck my life. Why? And I was just fucking mad over the next hour because I didn't record it instead of just enjoying it for what it was.
What do you think of PUBG?
And
it is the game is unlike anything I had really played before. It's not like I had never played battle royale games. I had played shooters on console, but and a bit of Overwatch, but I was not a shooter uploader or a big fan or remotely good at shooters by any standard. And so yeah, it was very unlike anything I played before. But there's something about it that drives me absolutely fucking crazy. I fucking love it. The fact that you could stalk people, that you could hunt them down, that you can see some dude, and like the strategy part of it, it's so fucking good. And of course, it's got, even with all its issues, it's got gameplay to back it up. The gameplay is really satisfying. You can play it with friends, and since they made me a partner, I can also open up lobbies and play with lots of viewers at the same time and do like fun game modes. Just fucking, it's amazing. So I am in love with that game. The only thing that puts me off PUBG a bit is the fact that making videos about it is extremely difficult for some reason. You have a lot of competition. My PUBG videos do like terrible. They do really badly. And I can understand that they would do badly with my own subscribers because maybe they're not into it too much. But they get barely shown to new people. All of them immediately get demonetized until I claim them. Like they're the only videos where they consistently, all of them have been demonetized. And yeah, YouTube doesn't treat me very well with it. So making videos about it, it's been a bit frustrating. But other than that, I love streaming it. I love playing it, and playing it with my viewers and my friends is just great. If your computer can run it, I definitely recommend it.
The game kind of.
I found PUBG to be one of the few games that's really kind of like held over with, like Dark Souls invasions for me have always kind of been entertaining because they have that element of randomness.
Yeah.
you don't really know. Every invasion is going to be
Yeah.
something different. You don't know what's going to happen. And PUBG has that same feel. And
Yeah.
I've never really found games other than that give me that experience.
Yeah, that's the one thing that is really nice about it, is that even though there's only one map and the game objective is always the same, it always plays out differently. And there's so many things you can do. There's so many ways to challenge yourself. There's so many ways of winning. There's so many ways of like approaching the game itself. You can drop at school, have an experience completely different than if you drop anywhere else. It is so fucking dope. I'm a big fanboy of it. I really like it.
And then have you been playing any Fortnite? Because they released their battle royale game mode. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
that
checked
was
that out at
very
all yet.
perplexing because it was such a carbon copy of PUBG. I'm not surprised that
Yeah.
they announced that they're like considering suing or doing something about it. No, I haven't yet. And Fortnite seemed like something I would really, really like. When a friend showed me a trailer, I was like, dude, I love like building forts and stuff. This is my jam. I really like building stuff in games. When I was a kid, I would play The Sims, and I would never even fucking get a Sim. I would just make houses, right? Because I like
Yep.
kind of like in Fallout 4. I would just make settlements and whatnot. I really like that part. So it seems like it would be something that I really like. But then the game came out and it was mixed reviews all over. And I heard that the crafting part of it was like minimal. It was just more efficient to just build a minimal fort and just keep killing things. So it put me out. It put me off a bit, and I never actually got it. And with the battle royale, I see Roboto play it. I see some people play it, and I know it's for free. So I know that if I played it, many of my viewers that cannot afford PUBG or cannot run PUBG might join me. So that's a big plus. So I might try it out, but still I haven't.
And it's on a console
Yeah,
as well, which PUBG
that's a
isn't.
big plus too. But no, I haven't tried it yet. But I'm looking forward to it. I might do it in the future. What about you guys? Do you all play PUBG or this game?
I play
I play it in my spare time, but I don't have a second computer for streaming. And PUBG's pretty intensive,
Oh, it is.
and it just makes my computer want to cry whenever I try streaming it and playing it at the same time.
I feel it. It's a very demanding game. That's the one thing that I would always want someone who asks
And
me if they should.
it's also pretty saturated on Twitch, which is like, as a smaller streamer, is something I kind of try to stray away
that's very
from.
true. You play any other game, you might get the occasional people coming in for the game and then they stay because of you. But PUBG, with like 100,000 plus viewers every moment, any given time of the day, yeah, you're gonna have
it's
serious
kinda like-
competition.
It's kind of like
I had never
Hearthstone.
even uploading random games on YouTube, I would get like the YouTube algorithm would show my videos to random people. Like in PUBG, it's ridiculous. Like I don't know if I should like make the video super optimized, like make it super clickbaity and stuff. Maybe because that's what I would have to do to get over the competition. But I don't feel like doing
Make a fighter PL video.
that. On PUBG.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trolling
PUBG.
trolls of trolling of PUBG.
Invasions Part 739. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Speaking of
And
that,
I did want to ask,
Oh yeah.
Are there any content uploaders that you watch specifically? Like
I watch
constantly?
almost all, like the ones that make content similar to mine, or about the same games. I watch a lot of them, and
So like Skidonic.
I love Skid, dude. Have you seen his latest video? Yeah, I love him. I watch.
Dude,
I watch.
Skid's videos are so funny.
Yeah, he's very close to my heart. He's a great guy, and I'm pretty sure he's close to you guys as well. Yeah, I like his videos, but I don't watch just him. I watch almost all the stuff that the Dark Souls uploaders put out. Every now and then I'll see like an uploader on the rise that I haven't noticed before, but I also follow a lot of small ones, and it's good. You learn a lot from watching other people, and not just from like a competitive point of view. Like, oh, I'm gonna learn all the tricks they do. No, just make a lot of connections. I make a point to like comment on videos that I enjoy, and you just do a lot of networking, and it's good overall to just be social and talk to people.
and that extends more than just YouTube too. That's one of the like biggest things when I see like newer streamers coming to me asking me for advice, I always tell them be social. It's the most help you could possibly do for your channel. And that doesn't mean like trying to go like shamelessly self-advertise or something. Like
No.
it's just good to become friends with people who create content similar to yours.
No one says that you have to try to be the lapdog of someone who has like one more subscriber than you do, and then ignore everyone who has one less subscriber than you do. But when you do collabs, even with someone who's your size or smaller, it's always good. Like it's not like a zero-sum game. It's always positive. People who watch them will watch you. People who watch you will watch them. There's growth everywhere. And at the end of the day, if you have something to keep people coming back, because if you got nothing to keep people coming back, you would never, you never take off as a content creator. But if you got something worth watching, people will stay, even if it's very.
And I wanted to ask too, like, how's it been for you working with other content creators? Like, I have your video pulled up for the people watching your tryhard tournament
with
Oro and Paragon
and Paragon DS. Yeah, that one experience in particular was so fun. Generally speaking, the only thing bad I could say about working with other people is that sometimes it's kind of like doing group assignments in school. It's a bit more work sometimes.
Like sometimes it's not necessarily on the same page. Course,
but as anyone who's done a good group project, the results are also way better. And from my experience, I've done a lot of collaborations, especially since the Soldier era, where I've invited a lot of people, and also with some videos. I did a video with what's his name, PvP Skills. It was fucking great. Done videos. Did you watch it?
Yeah, that video was amazing.
I've done a lot of call-up videos, and everything I've done has been amazing. Like I would take a bullet for all the people that I've worked with in this regard. That they're all great, and that really goes to show that going around and talking to people and making friends is really important.
And then what was necessarily that you just mentioned your Solionaire?
Oh,
what was your inspiration for doing that video?
Well, to be fair, I don't know exactly what. I knew that it would be fun to make a trivia show about Dark Souls, because I just knew a lot of obscure things that I thought would be fun to ask people, and
definitely.
I don't know, like it's hard to tell, but I just know that if someone else was doing it and it wasn't me, I know that I would watch this like ravenously, because I enjoy it, and it's one of the few things that I could say I would like sit down an hour and a half and watch, because I would like it. It's one of those things that you just I do it because I like it, and I had the luck to get in contact with a lot of people and be able to bring a lot of prominent content creators and put them against the ropes with the questions. And the thing that inspired me was the fact that I had an idea in my mind how I could put all of this together, because it was doing this live. It was a bit of a technical challenge, so to speak, because I don't have like great knowledge of coding. It's not like I'm using any custom programs or anything. I'm just using a bunch of images that I put up together in Photoshop, and I'm using them in OBS. And if you guys have used OBS, I'm sure you have. It's a pretty
using OBS right now.
Of course, like it's like a very simple program. It's got its filters and stuff, but you can't really like have moving things around. It's not like an amazing video thing because it's a live streaming program. So I had to make do with a lot of makeshift ways to make the music play live, have the chat going on. But I figured out a way to do it. And the first show, it was really different from everything anyone was putting out in the Souls community, because who would do this fucking stupid crap? And I was very happy with the result. And more people kept asking me to get more people in, and I was incredibly nervous the first times around. It was really hard to like to do everything live, but over the time I got better, and I came up with better mechanisms to like do it without as many interruptions and stuff. So I got better at it, and now it's really enjoyable. And I don't know if I'll do more episodes.
Logos on there?
Sorry?
How'd you get Lobos on there?
Oh, Lobos. I had never really worked with him or done anything with him, but he's an incredibly laid back guy. He's super easy to approach. I just sent him a message. He was like, sure. He showed up on time and he did fucking great. He won the Solinaire thingy because he was just so knowledgeable about it. It was incredible.
Funny. I just messaged a bunch of people to do the podcast as well, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll do it." I was like, "Okay."
I feel like a lot of people are more intimidated to approach like larger content creators, but like they were all in the smaller situation at one point or another.
Else. Like I don't know, maybe you'll message one guy and he'll tell you to fuck off. But
yeah, that's a definite possibility. But I feel like most people I've talked to have been pretty laid back.
Yeah, absolutely. At least from my experience. And people talk to me sometimes and like, hey, Otzdarva, I like your video. I like your this, that. And I'm like, oh, dude, thanks. Have a great day. I appreciate your words. Cheers. Or what? Oh, where are you from? Or whatever. And they're like, wow, I cannot believe you're talking to me. Like I was some kind of fucking celebrity, and they just got it wrong. Like it's nothing like that at all. Then again,
some
of course,
people on YouTube do carry themselves that way, though.
I understand that it's a busy thing. Like I'm going to be a bit more busy than maybe the average person that's online, but I still have time to talk to people. It's not like I have millions of fans that are like drowning me with invites or anything. I at least at my size, I think it's kind of manageable to talk to people occasionally and whatnot. But yeah, of course, there's some people that when you have a lot of followers in like any, it doesn't need to be YouTube. It could be Instagram. It could be real life. It could be anything. When you have a lot of followers, it can drive your biases. It can just magnify them, because if you have thousands of people that agree with you and like love you unconditionally, even if you're a fucking dickhead, it could get to the top of your head, Whenever you do something wrong, you're confronted. You're like, "Oh, Otzdarva, but why would you post this guy's personal information on this video? Or why would you insult this woman on the street?" And at the back of my head, I could be thinking, "What do I care? I have 1,000 people that will defend me. I have 1,000 people that will say I'm right no matter what. So I don't need to confront reality, right? So you need to stay humble." And I would say most of the people do that just fine. It could also happen the other way around. Whenever you have a large following, even if 1% of the people that watch you hate your guts, even if it's just like 1%, that's still a lot of people. If you have 100,000 followers, 1% is 1,000 people. If you have 1,000 people telling you to like fucking go and die, some people take it too seriously. And there's, even in the Souls community, there's been a couple uploaders that have taken criticism too badly. It was like minor criticism from a small but vocal minority, but it got to them. And that's something else that you also have to keep in mind. You have to be humble, but at the same time, you cannot take every single comment too seriously, because when you have so many big numbers, the occasional comment that will hurt your feelings is going to be there. But that's just a thing that happens when you get numbers in anything, really.
Just out of curiosity, it's kind of off topic, but did you see the new IDubbbz content cop?
Oh yeah, I did. I'm a big fan of Ian. He's one of these few guys that, when you watch videos, obviously when you watch someone who's big, you can tell that they're doing something right. Because if someone has 1 million subscribers, he or she, they're doing something right if they've gotten that big. But Ian, not only has he done something, you can tell he's smart and he plays people like a fiddle. I was in his Tana Monju content cop. He made a point that really struck me. He said, if when I approached her and said the N-word to her, she had turned around seriously and said, wow, that is a really unfunny joke, she would have destroyed me. But she didn't do that. She was the most predictable person in the world, and she just, dramatized over it, and, she was a fucking idiot. So that's the thing. He knows how people will react. He anticipates it, and he comes out on top every single time. He's tackled people way bigger than him in the past, and just because he's just been really fucking smart, and it's a treat. His videos are a treat to watch, just because he's he manages to set a frame where his jokes are funny and where he always comes on top. It's I really like his latest video.
Did you see the Minecraft parody of the diss track?
Minecraft parody. No, someone did it.
Yeah,
Alright,
two people did
A
it.
couple
They're on
people did
Dark
it.
Moon.
That didn't take long. No, but I'm very happy. It's one of those. There's many YouTubers, or not even YouTubers, just YouTube channels that don't have any face attached to it that have gotten huge doing shady stuff. Like
Yeah.
these huge toy channels that are fucking basically poisoning the minds of children with this
Oh,
over
yeah.
sexualized videos and whatnot, or these other channels that just do like stuff that's just crap, like literal crap, but gets tons of views.
The Elsa
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
that kind. But a lot of channels like that. But then you see iDubbbz and you're like, look at this guy. He's he's calling out people doing things that are wrong. He's making some random videos. He has a like politically incorrect sense of humor, and he's doing really good. So I'm very happy that he's growing so fast and that his videos are so popular.
And I think it was Vsauce or H3, one of the two, were saying like he's the kind of person where when he's working on a video, he'll take it very seriously, do his research, he'll disappear for like months at a time, just doing everything he can to make it perfect.
That's the part of like he knows exactly what it is that at the time will cause, and he knows when to attack, when to strike. When the Tanamonju thing, he was very smart to wait, to not rush the video, to let everyone else make a video about it so that the controversy built up. And then he releases the video and everyone goes to him. Everyone wants to see his point of view. And everyone expects him to, like, I don't know, to apologize or to explain his side of the things. And he does it in this flawless way that makes him the good guy. And you just have to hand it to him. He just knows how to seize the opportunity every time. And with the Jake Paul thing, it was very smart. So he changes the title of the video, not to like in a way to like piss off the target of the video, but at the same time he's doing it in a way to like trick people into watching something that they want to watch. So it's one of the few videos that I've seen where it's like the clickbait is real. It's like completely fucking misleading. But you go and see the like to dislike ratio and everyone loves it because they're like, shit, I got tricked into this, but still, this is good.
I feel like the fake name was like the best part about that video.
It was incredibly smart. That's why I got to hand it to him. He's doing things really well, and I look up to him.
Yeah.
And something else I did want to ask you about too is because you got your start playing Dark Souls,
mm-hmm.
and it's something that I've definitely noticed you playing. Like you still play Souls, but a bit less than before.
Oh yeah.
Has it been hard for you, kind of getting over it?
I wouldn't say
like
it's
Souls
been hard for me.
Popularity declining.
I wouldn't say it's been hard for me, but the thing with my channel, I don't think I'm ever gonna have the luck of some other people where they, where they have videos that are massively popular and they just ride the wave, For me, it seems like I'm just gonna have to work hard and hope for the best, because I don't think at some point, like you'll get the occasional comment, and I've seen this on other uploaders more than I've seen it on myself, but you'll see a comment saying, "Oh, I just watch you because you play Dark Souls. Just keep playing Dark Souls. Why do you play something else? Stick to Dark Souls. That's what you're good at, right?" Or change Dark Souls for whatever game they're playing, and that's dumb. That's very, very fucking dumb. Because if you stick to something that's got an expiration date put to it, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. You cannot.
The flame will fade.
You cannot stick to it. Maybe Minecraft. I don't know. Maybe Minecraft will be one exception.
Great pun, Jimmy.
But yeah, if you stick to a game, the game will eventually die, and then you'll be like, well, fuck. Now all the people watching me because of this game, all of them, and now I can't play it anymore. What do I do now? You need to start branching out. You need to play other games so that your audience expects variety, and also people come from other games, and people stay not so much for the one game but for you. You don't want people to stick to your channel because you play Battlefield, and when Battlefield is gone, you have 1 million subscribers, and your new videos get like 2 fucking views. That's the death of a channel. And anyone who's too focused on a single game should start thinking what they're gonna do and how they're gonna spice up their channel. It's a
It's
necessity.
happened to a lot of my friends' channels. They're like Dark Souls specific channels, and then they just all die. Like Jutas and Adam.
Adam Barker?
Yeah, Adam Barker. They just like
Yeah.
both tried to do other games, and they
Yeah, but you have to, you see, Adam and Judas, I think they're very talented uploaders. I don't think
I do too.
I'm not saying they'll have an easy time, because fuck, if I have a hard time, anyone can have a hard time. Like, it will be a hard time for pretty much anyone. I've only seen one channel successfully shift away from Dark Souls.
What is that?
That would be what's his name? Tear of Grace.
Oh,
You guys might be familiar with him, and it's because
Yeah.
he like, it was never about Dark Souls. It was about his personality, and when he started playing other games, like people liked it because he just carried so much of it. It was him, not his
do you
gameplay. Over
think
his.
do you think Vadi's channel's dead now?
Oh no, I'm pretty sure he can keep milking on the Dark Souls cow for a while. He's
Still a lot of lore to go over.
yeah, definitely. Like, I'm not saying. What I will say though is that Barry's job is a bit different from maybe an uploader like me, because when Dark Souls 4 comes out, just an example, then Barry does, for like at least 3 or 4 months, he doesn't need to do much thinking. He can just do the lore of like the main character, the side character, the main boss, the side boss, and whatnot. He doesn't need to think through it much. Like, obviously he needs to work very hard on the videos, but he doesn't really need to do much brainstorming, right? But now the games are like a bit older and the lore has been mostly covered. Now he needs to get creative and explore things that are not quite as obvious or haven't been explored quite as much. So now he's in a bit of a tough spot. But then again, it's very likely that in the next, I don't know, a couple months, we'll see some announcement. And then, Souls News number 5, new Dark. So he'll probably move on to the next Dark Fantasy game. I'm pretty sure he'll be all right. But yeah, depending on how long that stretch takes, he's just gonna have to be a bit more creative now. But he's got a massive audience, and even though
Yeah, he has 1 million subscribers.
yeah, like a million and something now, and people generally like him. They didn't just they're not. I know how some big uploaders have big audiences, but people are not really attached to them. They just watch the videos because of the videos. I'm pretty sure Body will be fine.
Everyone thinks Vadi's a god, so.
Excuse me, I didn't catch that.
Everyone thinks Vadi is a god.
Yeah, he's got to kill like Vadi. Just took that niche spot that was someone had to take it. If you have a game that has 1 million weapons like Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 1, people like Mr. I Won't Forget became really popular because they're filling a void, right? When there's so much variety of weapons, people will be looking up which weapon is the best or how do I use this weapon, and they'll look for guides. So people fill that void. And with the Dark Souls games, sure, they have a lore that it's kind of accessible, but it would also be nice to have it all packed together. And Vadi does just that. So he's feeling like a void. If the game had a story mode where everything was explained, Vadi's channel would be unnecessary, insignificant. He's just filling a void that the game has left. And I'm not criticizing that. That's perfectly okay. So Vadi will have to find games that also have this void. And I'm assuming the next FromSoft game will kind of do that, I suppose, like Bloodborne did. But that's what I see channel going. He's gonna have to move on to games that require explanation, which is where he shines. But then again, I would very much start with 1 million subscribers than with 0. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I would much rather.
Buddy was definitely one of the first Dark Souls content creators that I ever watched, if not the first, because it was like while I was doing my first playthrough before I was ever like super into the game. I just remember like looking up on YouTube with just explanations of things, just because of how obscure the lore was. And
what he does,
I came across his Prepare to Cry on Ceaseless Discharge.
Oh.
And then I was like, oh man, and I just like binge watched all of his videos.
That's true. It's one of those channels where if you find him later, like you can really go through all of them, and even if you know the story, I never had much trouble. Like, oh, I didn't understand anything, but even still, I watch many of his videos, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I missed that thing. That's cool.
It's the voice.
Oh, that does a big thing as well. Yeah.
Got a good voice too. Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's everything that's carrying him, of course,
No.
but it's something that helps a lot. And
well,
I've seen a lot of other uploaders that also put a lot of work in their videos, and you can tell that because their editing is not up to point or their voice is not as nice to listen to, they might never get quite as popular because they're being held back by a certain aspect. But Daddy's got everything he needs for these kinds of videos, and you can tell he's got it down to a T.
There's the Vadi of Game of Thrones, and he's Alt-Shift
X. Yeah, I know him.
I love that guy's videos.
Yeah, and I know Alt-Shift X is a big inspiration for Vadi. If you've seen his videos, Vadi actually credits him. Well, not credits him. He's like he recommends his channel, and you can tell he took a lot from him.
Yeah, Vadi is in his like channel box thing or sub box or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was like, oh well.
Yeah, and I would argue that it's the same. Game of Thrones is a very convoluted story, and many subplots, many side characters. I mean, the show not as much as the books, but he also covers the books, and he's filling a void. If Game of Thrones was a kid's book that had like 3 main characters, his videos wouldn't be necessary, right? So
right.
I think that's the point. They're filling the need of people to understand a very complex story that's not explained very conventionally or not very well. It's not accessible to most people right away, so you can just watch a 20-minute video and be filled in, and that's great.
And if it wasn't him, it would be someone else. So like you said, he's just filling that void.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, but I mean, you have to give it to him. He does it very well. Like,
oh, of course.
If he wasn't there, maybe some of the other lore guys would be a bit more popular, and he would have less the competition would be spread out. But he still does very well, and I actually kind of look forward to see what it is he'll do when he's a bit more hard pressed to find content to like make videos about. I think that'll be interesting. I enjoy that a lot more than just watching the generic lore videos that you would make when a game just comes out.
Yeah, same here. Well, we have reached the 1 hour 30-minute mark, which was I suppose the what we agreed on for the length. So is there anything else that we would like to cover?
I did want to ask if have you been participating in Return to Lordran?
Oh, I did play it a bit, and fuck me, I remember all the things that make Dark Souls 1 on PC unplayable. But it still was a lot of fun. I played with my viewers a bit the other day.
Yeah, I got stuck at the bonfire a couple times at the close app. It was fun.
Terrible. I had to play with like 3 mods on to make it somewhat bearable, and it still was terrible.
And it's still like refreshing to go back though.
Like,
yeah. That scene when you're leaving the undead asylum and before the Raven picks you up is always in my opinion, one of the most beautiful moments in any of the Dark Souls games.
I still appreciate it a lot. It's just that even hackers they don't have much of a choice. So they're not even creative. They just fucking curse you and break all your stuff. Good times though.
Yep. Sloth, Swam, did you guys have anything else you wanted to go over?
No, I'm good. Anything for you, Sloth?
No, I just wanted to thank you again for coming on. It was a pleasure to have you today, Otz.
So likewise, I honestly, that time really flew by. If you had asked me, I thought we were like 40 minutes into it. That went on really quickly. It was really enjoyable. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Glad to have you,
absolutely.
man. All right, we'll go find some other channel to send you guys all into. It was a pleasure, Otz. Sure, we can probably get you on again in the future.
I'll be glad to. Just give me a heads up.
And thank you everyone for coming out. Appreciate it. We'll catch you all next Friday with Squillakilla around the same time, like 4 p.m. PST, 4:30 p.m. PST. Take it easy, everyone.